When I met Jesus Christ, he was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath a poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair. Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair.
Okay, before we start, and tonight's story is going to be challenging, I think. Before we start, I just want to thank John Stapleton, because I was going around Australia. I was writing these essays in Camp Epic, and I was just putting them on Substack. And anyway, John Stapleton from Sensor Place Publishing reached out and said, "Listen, I've been reading them. You should put them in a novel." And he kept pushing me and kept pushing me, and then when I was having the heart attack, I think he thought, well, we better do it now, he'll die. So he did it. And he told me then he reckons he could get it into the National Library. And to be honest, I did not believe him. But today he's done it. So these are not my stories. These are some of mine, but mainly I've documented people I've talked to and put them together in different essays and come through. So it really is just a load of essays, which is our history. Or a tiny sliver of our history. But today, we heard that they're going to be in the National Library. I don't know what that means, except I know that a sliver of our history is now going to be secured. And I was always concerned that it would be lost. So I want to thank John so much for that, and everyone who's bought the book. Thank you so much for that. So, yeah, let's get started. Now, the other day, I was called by David Southwell, who's a mainstream reporter, and he'd been contacted by Rosemary Marshall, the fierce and wonderful Rosemary Marshall, that she'd interviewed a gentleman in Port Macquarie, and she thought the story should go into a national newspaper. And so she contacted David. David wanted to do the story, but his editor said, we don't do these kind of stories anymore. And what it means by these kind of stories is vaccine injured stories. And what's happened with those people injured by the mRNA vaccine, and there are loads of them, is that we have a new class of people now. And this is one of the lowest class. They are not the untouchable, but the forgotten. It's like our society just wants to forget them. And the trouble is, if we do, then we're no longer Australians, because Australians is about fighting for the underdog and look after our own. And these people took the vaccine because the government told them to take the vaccine. And so as far as I'm concerned, we're in Clare, and Clare has a huge war memorial. And there's the men they lost in the First World War, the Second World War, the Aborigine soldiers they lost, and all the different wars the men and the women are documented who fought and died. And I was thinking, well, COVID was like a war, and basically taking the vaccine was like signing up to fight it. And a lot of people have died, a lot of people have been injured. And so rather than ignoring them, I think we should actually consider giving them a shrine. And anyway, so tonight we're going to tell the story of Donna and Peter, and we're going to start at the beginning, and we're just going to go through. So hopefully you can stay with us, and we'll give these people a voice. Let's bring them on. G'day, guys.
Hi.
G'day, Michael.
Welcome to the cafe.
Thanks for having us.
No worries, no worries. So we're going to get started. First off, how long have you two been together?
We've been together about 15 years.
Okay, I'll ask Donna. Donna, how long have you been together? Because he's about, but you probably know it.
Yeah, it's 15 years.
so there's nothing. I love it. So, and where'd you meet? Just out of interest.
We actually met over a bad joke at one of my good friends' expenses on Facebook, of all places.
A bad joke. G'day, Rosemary. A bad joke. Are you able to tell it, or is it too bad?
Basically, we were doing a very Australian thing and just taking the mickey out of him. And Donna, I was busy compiling what I thought was the world's best comeback, and this one here beat me to it, and I thought, damn, why didn't I think about that one, and who is this girl?
That's kind of romantic, don't you think? Okay, so going on, you meet, you get married, and this story, one of the crucial things of your story, Peter, is your son. So tell us about your son and what happened with him.
We're a blended family, so we had perfectly normal children earlier. 5 between us, and one night after a night out and one too many beers and maybe a little bit too much red wine, I just happened to blurt out to Donna that I wonder what a little one of us would have looked like. Bearing at the time I was 43 and she was not quite 40.
Yeah.
She said, let's give it 3 months and see what happens.
So you're into the idea, Donna.
Yeah.
It's okay to like babies. I know people don't like big families now, but I don't see the issue. It's okay.
No, I love them. I love kids. I just love them. Love kids.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, Michael, boom.
3 weeks.
3 weeks it took, and we were blessed with the most beautiful little boy.
They bring the love with them.
I find it hard to talk about him without getting emotional. It really does. He's the most beautiful little boy.
And you said he was good for about 18 months, so everything was going normal. And you know, Donna, it's not like your first child. This is number 6. So how is he progressing compared to the others?
It was number 3 for me because, so we've been married before. So,
okay.
He had 3 children from his first marriage, and I had 2 boys.
Yeah.
So I knew that, this one was different to my other children.
Why was that?
Just in the way he was learning, just his mannerisms, like just little things that he did. And I guess the biggest thing was, it was a bit after he was 18 months and he had the MMR injection. He was reading books. He was saying colours. He was saying shapes, all that typical stuff.
So
and
he was reading books at 18 months.
Well, yeah, like you could show him a picture and say, "What's this?" and he would tell us, paper or colour. Yeah. And then it all stopped. So, and then it probably wasn't until he was about 3, and people were going, "Why isn't he talking?" So then we took him to a speech therapist, and she's like, "Oh, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Just come back before he starts school if he's still not talking properly." Okay. So then
Do you think at the time that there was something wrong, that he'd had such a change?
Yeah. I didn't click to exactly what it was, but it took a little while to.
We went to see a paediatrician, and the paediatrician basically told us that our son had anxiety.
And it was our fault.
It was our fault, and we needed to go do and we needed to go do some parenting courses, which all they did was make us feel like absolute, And we just
What did they base that upon?
Sorry, mate?
What did they base that finding upon, that it was your fault? I mean, did they come around, they study you for a week or something, or he just decided that was it?
Because they asked us about our childhood. So because our childhood and growing up, we had anxiety. It was,
Apparently I had severe trauma in my childhood, which I was unaware of at the time. I was absolutely gobsmacked, and so we ticked all the boxes and we did the right things, and we went to these parenting courses on how to deal with your anxious child. And I just sat in this room with these people, and I'm like, no, this isn't right. So we ended up getting a referral to a place called Aspect in Western Sydney. And because our little boy just wasn't improving, he was just staying stagnant, he was almost like he was a recluse in his little body. And
was he hugging you and stuff like that, Donna? Was he doing?
No. He would hide from people. So If you had anyone come visit, he would hide under tables. He'd go to his bedroom. He just would not want to be around people.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing.
Very adverse to textures, very, very singular dietary tastes. Like the only thing we could get him to eat for a couple of years was chicken nuggets. And when we,
I'm not laughing, it's so awful.
No, I understand. Yeah, but when we took him down to this place in Western Sydney, and it was almost a place of sense of relief. We left the building crying because the lady took us aside after she had spent time with our young fella and said, "Your son has level 2 autism." And she felt bad because Donna and I immediately broke down into tears, and a lot of that was relief to know that we weren't bad parents.
Yeah.
But we had an answer as to why our little boy was like that, and then that's set in line a whole lot of therapies, to help him over that time. But, looking back now, and it's easier to be a genius in hindsight, Michael.
Yeah, of course.
I could literally pinpoint it back to the day when he had that 18-month-old vaccine. And he just regressed. He went from being Dad's best little mate, who was, walk to the front door because he knew when Dad was coming home, and he went to hiding and not talking, and it was just like, yeah, it was ridiculous.
It's terrible how they treat the parents, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just straight into blame of you, as if to hide what he must have actually been able to see, or she. I mean, she must.
Parents do know best, and it's hard when you explain to doctors and they don't want to listen.
Yeah.
It's the biggest
One
thing.
One of the people just put up that her son was the same. He only used to eat beetroot. So, you know, and then Wendy Daniels, who's written a lot about vaccine injuries and vaccines, says that this is what they do. They attack the parents. So it's very hard for you to sort of get in a way of how am I going to look after or deal or help your child when the society is already saying, well, you two are to blame, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I could honestly say that a younger Peter as a father probably would not have coped, and it would have been the end of the marriage.
Wow.
I mean, and that could
So
have
it was that difficult, was it?
It was frustrating, and I can't imagine. And looking back now, that makes me very selfish. But I struggle to see how young parents going through it, especially for a first-time parent. I think there needs to be a lot more support for them.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not the world's most patient parent by a long shot, but boy, has my son's diagnosis, it's taught me a lot, and yeah, it really has.
Can I ask, how did society treat you with your son? Like, were your friends and families agreeing that it was a vaccine injury, or did they? No, they
You can't talk to them about it.
You can't talk to them about. Yeah, Donna's right. You can't talk to them about it, but we soon found out who our real friends were.
Yeah.
Because people by nature are a very judgmental lot. Look, our family, they accepted that Lockie, that he had this condition. But I think on the whole view of it was vaccine inflicted, I think they thought we were a little bit, you know, had a few roos loose in the top paddock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would lead, I guess, to feeling quite isolated. You still got to deal with this son that needs help, and you're alone to a degree.
It was hard because it was hard to take him out. So to take him to people's houses, it just didn't happen. It was easier just to stay home with his little mannerisms. He just couldn't cope with noises. He couldn't cope. Even going to the supermarket was hard. There was days where if we took him somewhere, when we took him to a circus once, and we got to the front gate and he decided he wasn't going in there, he drew blood on me. He was that upset and petrified of going in there. And people don't see these little things. Like every day is little challenges. And it's hard for the kids as well as the parents to go through what we go through when I think there's two different sorts of autism. Like there's the autism that's like, what do you call it, Asperger's, where people are just high functioning and get through life. And then there's ones like our child who regressed and has symptoms that are hard to help them through, isn't it?
It is, and it's been a long, hard slog to get our little boy back. And
have you had any recognition at all from the medical establishment that it might have been a vaccine that caused it?
No. Every time we got I call it interrogated by the quacks. Every time we brought up the time period and the time frame, they just basically not laughed at you, but they're just, you know, no, that will put that idea at the side there. It couldn't have possibly been the vaccines.
So before that, when he was when he was born, he used to make eye contact. He used to goo and gar and do all the baby things. So I think typically if they were born autistic from the beginning, they don't make eye contact and they're different. Like he didn't show anything different like to start with, did he?
No, he didn't.
You
Well,
were
at 18 months, I mean, from what I remember when my kid, at 18 months, you walk in the room, they tell you, especially you as a dad, you walk in and they just lighten up. It's like a little dog that think you've come home. You know, they're so excited to see you. So you you definitely see the difference, you know.
like growing up with because he's got older siblings, like if they came out for a birthday party, he would go into his room and hide, even with family.
Wow.
And that's what we went through. He's never had a birthday party. Like he's 14 now, just turned 14, and he's never had a birthday party for himself.
He's got a really nice group of friends now up here where we've moved to, and they came around for his birthday to say hello. They didn't realise it was his birthday, and they went for a swim and all that. And Lockie just happened to mention, "Can I just get the cake out?" And he got the cake out, and one of the boys said, "Oh, what's the cake for?" And I said, "Oh, it's his birthday today." And so one of the boys broke into an abrupt round of "Happy birthday to you," and my poor little boy, mate, he almost caved in on himself. He just stood there going, "How do I deal with this? How do I react?" You know, it's just no. But things like that, they're little battles where you give yourself a little fist pump and you go, "Yes, we've won that." He got through it. He dealt with it. And that's when he makes achievements, which there's a lot of now. A lot of you know, you're just so proud.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, but you don't have to answer this, but how does love survive in that situation where it's so trying? Because it must be a real test of parental love to the child, or is it not a test? Is it not? This is my child. I don't care what. I'm in love, and you don't have to answer if you don't. I'm just really interested how difficult it must be if it's nonstop.
When he goes through, when he's in a situation where he has to interact, or group activities are really hard, and all that, or when he's got to be a part of something, he puts on a face, but Donna and I have to be very aware, even at 14 years old, when he's gone through something like that, when he comes home, he's got to crash, he's got to turn off, and that's when we get reminded about, how things have been. He's very happy by himself. He doesn't actively seek company of friends and all that a real lot. It took until he was 13 and a half for him to even consider having a sleepover with a friend. And I mean, when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, my parents didn't know whose mate's house I was at. But
the question about like us though, because we've been married before and had previous children, we're both different to how we brought our older children up. So it's been.
So you've had some training,
yeah. Like we do clash sometimes, like on what we agree.
She's the softly, and I'm the armor justice, so to speak.
Yeah. But it must be hard, because as a mother, you'd want to embrace him. You'd want to do this. Does he take hugs from you? Always done it?
Not as much. He's not. It's really. It's not odd. I think it's wonderful. I cannot get out the house with an "I love you, Dad" and a hug. I cannot go to bed without an "I love you, Dad" and a hug. And I've brought him up that way because I'm very close to my father and mother.
Yeah, me too.
And we don't shake hands and say g'day. We hug, especially now that I'm getting older. He's getting much older, and you just don't know how many more of those hugs you're going to get.
That's 100%, brother.
Yeah,
100%.
But when he was littler, he couldn't get to sleep of a night. So there was years that I spent where I would have to go to bed with him and lay beside him until he fell asleep, and I'd think, okay, he's asleep now, get up, and he'd go, Mum. Oh, okay. So I could spend 2 hours or even fall asleep there. So, yeah, it's hard on relationships when you've got to spend so much time with the child.
But you've survived.
Yeah.
Like I said, older, wiser heads, mate. Older, wiser heads.
Well, can you tell me what job were you doing? What job were you doing? Were you both working when we get to the next part of the story?
Yeah, we were both working. I was the delivery/trade manager coordinator for a large hardware chain in Orange, New South Wales. Donna was in administration in a daycare centre.
Okay.
And she, was a very valued part of that team in the daycare centre. Also, So we both worked full time. Short answer.
Yeah. So that you're doing that, and then of course COVID turns up and the mandates, and you decided to comply to keep the work, of course. And or you had another reason, didn't you?
Yes, Donna didn't. We got to the point with our life in Orange where we were going well, and basically Donna didn't really need the work. I was doing between 50 and 60 hours a week with my job, and then COVID hit. We had a lot of therapies that we were doing with Lockie, and OT, speech therapy, psychologist.
Is this sponsored by the government, or is this you guys paying for this yourselves?
No, that was through the NDIS.
Yeah.
NDIS, okay.
Yeah, yep. So he had a plan.
He had a plan, yeah. And swimming lessons. There were specific swimming lessons through what they called the Rainbow Club, which was specific to kids with disabilities. We
were on a waiting list. It took us probably 18 months to get in there. And so he sort of just got into the lessons when COVID come about.
Yes. And
you weren't mandated through work.
They
wanted you to have it.
They wanted me to have it, but I was never mandated through work to have it. Donna.
Yeah, cool.
I pleaded with him not to get it. I didn't want him to get it.
And why didn't you want to get it? Just out of interest, Donna? What was your reason?
I'm against vaccines.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. So what happened to your son has made you no more vaccines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a health problem 20 odd years ago from a medical thing, and it just opened my eyes, and I don't like taking big pharma at all.
I'm not judging you, honestly. I'm just trying to understand. Truly not judging you. I truly understand it. So go ahead, Peter.
Yeah. So
well,
especially on this show.
The local swimming pool up there in Orange, where the Rainbow Club had their weekly things, I will call it a mandate. Yeah, well, they put a rule up.
It was the government that did it at that time.
Yeah, but they chose to enforce it, and they didn't have to. But they said, you are not allowed into this swimming complex, which is a big indoor complex heated for all the kids with the disabilities, unless you can show proof of vaccination.
That was the period where they had the big major lockdowns. And so when you had to have the QR code to get into places. I would walk in there, sort of sneak in there and look the other way and just put my phone up as if I was scanning and go in there. And then the third week after that,
other million Australians.
The third week they stopped me and said, are you scanning properly? I'm like, oh, bugger. So then they knew I wasn't vaccinated.
They're actually watching that much.
Hey.
So anyway,
so as you can imagine, with a child on the spectrum they've just got his mum and gone, you're not allowed in here. Well, he burst into tears. He was lashing out, and I'm just like, have you seen what you've just done? So then he wouldn't go into lessons, so we had to leave. It was awful. So then, this one goes, well, I'll go get the vaccine so that he can still go to swimming lessons.
And
So that was it.
That
You
was the
decided.
only reason.
So
Sorry?
did you want to take it? Do you have any issues with taking it at first, Peter, or you didn't want it?
I initially was not going to get it because I was
Yeah.
neither here nor there, because the only time I ever had a flu shot in my life, I was sick 4 times with the flu.
Yeah.
And above and beyond that, I never got it. But the benefit the swimming lessons we had, specialised lessons we're having with Lockie, was
Yeah.
to me, I thought, well, how bad can it be? It's work. I want my son to continue improving, because that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
So I went out and got the first shot, and I sailed through that. Absolutely sailed through that, and it was.
I really
3
admire
weeks.
that, brother. I have to say, I really admire that. I know I'm an anti-vaxxer, but I really admire doing it for your son. I think it's quite beautiful, to be honest.
Oh, mate, yeah. And, the first shot, I went to one of those bulk pop-up clinics, and the nice army man said, "Yeah, you're going, champ. You're doing the right thing. Jab, sit there for 15 minutes. Okay, no reaction, off you scoot. See you in 3 weeks for a booster." So that was October 2021, and I went back for the second booster.
September, you had the first.
Oh,
October, you
September.
had the second
Sorry, September, October. Same.
one.
And ironically, same bloke, same army bloke,
Wow.
and he said, "Oh, you're here for your top up?" And I went, "Yeah, mate, I'm here for my top up." And he said, "Good on you, champ. You're doing the right thing." And I went, "Yep, righto." And he gave me the second one, and I walked out. Didn't think of it. 15 minutes later, didn't think about it. And then things started going downhill about 3 weeks later.
What were the first symptoms you saw?
The first symptoms were a shortness of breath, the odd little stabby chest pain, profuse sweating, and I just thought I was getting run down, because I was working 50 odd hours a week. I was motocross riding on the weekends, and every second weekend I was out cutting a couple of ton of wood to keep the fire burning at home. And it just got to the point where I went from being able to walk 5 and 6 kilometres every afternoon with Donna to struggle to walk 100 metres up to the top of my driveway before having to sit down with chest pains.
Right. And you're a big fella, aren't you?
I'm 6'3" and 112 kilos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're a big guy. Yeah.
I'm not little. Or as Rosemary called me, robust. I don't know how to take that. Yeah, God love her. She's lovely. And hi, Rosemary. I know you're watching. And
She is.
yeah, and I put up with it for 3 or 4 months, and Donna said, "You need to get checked out." And just after Christmas, I became really unwell. And
Donna, what were you watching from your side, Donna? That's what he's seeing, but what were you seeing from your side of him?
I was just I was all over what was happening over in the UK, and I knew that he had a vaccine injury, and I was just trying to.
Did you tell him, or you keep it to yourself and hoping it'd go away?
No, I told him. Yeah, I knew.
Yeah.
And then he thought he had COVID, which he didn't have COVID. But yeah, it was Boxing Day that he got really sick, and I was like, "You need to go to hospital." He's like, "No, I don't," because he's tough. He's a guy. He doesn't like going to hospital. So when the GPs were back open after Christmas, he went in there, and this is how sick he was. They thought he actually had pneumonia, so they sent him off and had all these tests done, which came back and he didn't have pneumonia. So they're like, "Oh, well, we don't know what's wrong with you." So that's where it all started, really.
How bad were you feeling then, Peter?
sorry.
How bad were you feeling then when you finally went to the doctors?
I have to have one foot in the grave and one hand clawing at the top to lift the climb back out before I go to the doctor. I'm the old school. If it ain't bleeding, it ain't broken. Then don't worry about it. The doctor suggested I see a cardiologist, and it took us 8 months to get into a cardiologist. In that time, I did get COVID, and it nearly put me in hospital again. It wiped me out for 2 weeks after a
Did Donna get COVID?
Yeah, and I cruised through it.
She cruised through it. And
Even though I've got 2 autoimmune diseases, I cruised through it.
yes.
But that was the thing. So the whole of January, he had off work. He could not work. He was that sick.
Wow.
Yeah. And
did you have that? Did you have that sick pay in your? Do you have enough sick pay to cover?
Well, I had a lot of accrued holidays, and I had sick pay built up because I'd been with the company about 5 years.
Yeah.
And luckily, we had the finances to get through that. But once I returned to work, things just weren't the same. I was struggling to do my job, which was fairly heavy, like in the construction trade industry. I was, I was in a position, I was in a senior management role, and part of my job was training new people. And to keep up with them, and I couldn't do it. I literally was exhausted. I could do 5 or 10 minutes work, and then I'd be a dripping wet ball of sweat and out of breath and chest pains. And that's when we finally got into the cardiologist. So you
had 8 months of that. You had 8 months of feeling that crap.
I had 8 months of feeling like that before I could get in to see the cardiologist.
But you went to the lung specialist first. So the GP sent him to a lung specialist as well as the cardiologist. So he went to the lung specialist first, and he listened, and he thought, it might be from the vaccine. But then he did a whole heap of testing and said, no, you've just got sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Which we realised later on that he didn't have sleep apnea. That's just all part of what he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was ruled out. And then it took 8 months to get into the cardiologist.
Yeah, so the cardiologist, they ran me through stress tests and whatnot, and they came back as a miserable failure. And then they punted me off to have, what do they call those things? Cardio.
So the first visit when we went to this... The first visit at this particular cardiologist, we went in there and said, he's got a vaccine injury. And she's just like, no. And then she said, if all the tests come back and it doesn't show anything, yes, we'll put it down to the vaccine. Then from that day on, she would not even talk about it. She just kept ignoring our questions. She just,
prescribing more pills.
So Pete actually kept a diary for a whole month of everything that happened, because with the second visit we went in there, she said, there is nothing wrong with you. I don't want to see you. So Pete pulled out the diary and she read it and she goes, there is a problem, isn't there? I said, yes, there is a problem.
What? So hold on. So she was basically trying to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Saying there's no problem.
Yep.
So if you hadn't have kept that diary, she would have just tossed you out.
Yeah.
I wonder how many other people she's done that to. Because not everybody is keeping diaries.
No.
No, we.
So then you were put on he was put on a little heart monitor for a month. He had to wear this little thing. So when she got the results of that, it showed different things. And then she's like, oh, no, but that's okay.
She said I had a blocked valves or something.
That was so then after the heart little monitor thing, she's like, okay, I'll send you for another test. So that test showed that he had myocardial ischemia. So then they sent him to have an angiogram because they thought he had blocked arteries. When they went in, they didn't find any blocked arteries, and they were scratching their head going, oh, why is that? So And then she's like, oh, it was just what did she say, a false positive?
A false positive.
I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound right.
You've had 8 months, literally with one foot in the grave, and she thinks you got a false positive.
Yeah.
So then it was
Then we demanded to see another cardiologist.
We went back for the 3rd visit, and then she's just like, I don't want to see you anymore. Excuse me? Like, you've got him on all these medications, but you don't want to see him anymore. Okay. So then I wrote a big long email to the head cardiologist at this practice and said, we want to see you. So he said yes. So we went in there. I kept just pushing. This one's pretty quiet, but I just wasn't going to let it go.
Good on you, Donna.
So I had everything written down. I was lots of questions. So then he sent him down to Sydney to RPA for these special angiograms. That was the one that showed that 57% of his left side of his heart and the microvascular was blocked.
Wow.
His heart wasn't working.
50%. G'day, Rosemary. 50%.
Yeah.
And
57%.
all these other tests had missed that.
Yep.
And
Only
they ignored the fact of you saying how crap you feel. They ignored all of that.
So that particular test is the only way that they can see what he had wrong with him. So if you go to a doctor and they don't think, well, they didn't know that he had that. So it was only because I kept pushing and it's like, okay, we'll just send him to Sydney that they found that.
I was laying on the table at the RPA, just halfway through his cardioangiogram, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it was a special cardio.
And the 2 doctors are chatting away to each other, and one turned to the other and said, this bloke's a heart attack waiting to happen. And I went, excuse me? I went, excuse me? And he went, oh, sorry, I forgot you were there. And I waited for a second. And I went, oh, beauty. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Shouldn't laugh, man, but wow. Wow.
I laughed. I was just looking at him.
Unbelievable.
Thinking, you blokes for real? I'm here, you know. I'm here.
So
the
while he was
telling you they don't want to see you again because they just don't want to deal with it because they probably know, because a cardiologist, she's probably seeing loads of your cases. And then here they're going, oh, it's a heart attack. And they take it, and you're there. Wow. Yeah.
So while he was there, before they let him go, because he had to stay the whole day laying flat before he could go home, they put him on a trial.
If he's a heart attack waiting to happen, why'd they send him home? I mean, aren't you in hospital? Isn't that where you're supposed to have the heart attack?
Yeah.
They changed my medication and they put me on a trial. And so I went
a trial for a sheet, like it's called a knocker or whatever it was.
A knocker.
Yeah. So ischema, it was for like ischema, but you don't actually have blocked arteries. So you've got all the symptoms of this thing, but you don't actually have blockages or something like that. Anyway.
So you've got blocked arteries, but there's no blockages. So
yeah, it's all the microvascular stuff, so they can't actually see it on the scan.
Wow.
So then he had to go back down a second time to RPA, and they did a cardiopulmonary test. So he got on an exercise bike machine, and that showed that his VO2 max was reduced. So his heart doesn't respond properly, recover after he exerts himself.
Yeah.
But cardiologist,
you need a lot of heart and blood pumping around. You big 6'3" fella. Yeah.
But the cardiologist told us that he didn't understand the results and he was going to talk to somebody, but nothing come of that either.
Wow. Yeah. You know why? Drop that ball. Get that out of. Can I say, Peter, at this point, as a man, and you're used to being very independent guy, I'd say, cutting wood, working in. You're playing the great role of a father and provider. How did you manage to survive emotionally 8 months or longer being incapacitated?
It's been a lot longer now than 8 months.
Yeah.
The main thing that keeps me connected is I've got a very strong faith. I'd say this one, but I don't want her tickets to blow off when she goes outside, mate.
I think she's doing a few tickets. I'd give you an Oscar, Tom.
This lady's my absolute rock.
Yeah.
And she she has just fought the fight. And honestly, if it wasn't for her tenacity and her stubbornness, and I can call her stubborn now because I'm using it in the right context, I honestly don't think I would be here talking to you today. The emotional side is, look, I was never good at showing emotion. I was brought up like, you just typical old school, I guess is what you call it.
Stiff upper lip.
Stiff upper lip, but still hug my dad every time I see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it broke me. It really did, because there was days where I just didn't want to wake up, and there were nights when I went to bed.
And he said, I don't want to wake up in the morning.
And I'd kiss.
And it is so hard.
And I'd kiss Donna goodnight because I thought there's a good chance I'm not going to wake up in the morning because the pains were that bad and whatnot. And it
How
does.
do you handle that, Donna? Sorry, I'll come back to it, but how do you handle that, Donna? Having your partner who you love and this, telling you that he doesn't know whether he's going to see them well. And...
It's tough. It is tough.
Wow. Sorry, Peter, keep going. I just wanted to...
No, you're right, Michael, you're right.
You're saying you didn't wake up in the morning was where you were, and you would.
Yeah, look, I lived like that for about 4 years. Then by complete and utter luck, we got onto a very understanding, sympathetic, knowledgeable cardiologist. And my first appointment with him went for an hour and a half, and he said, I honestly think that this is a vaccine injury and you're in the early stages of heart failure. And that hit me like a hammer.
That was hard because I'd actually looked up this doctor.
I agree with you, Robert. Sorry, we're just a community here. Robert Roach here, he's the one that goes into the chemist getting them. You've got to stop handing out this vaccine. He's been doing it. So he's saying it makes him angry. This is, yeah, I'm with you, Robert.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, I'd been doing a lot of research when I found this cardiologist. And I'm like, okay, this is the one. So I actually emailed him and I attached all Pete's reports, what he was going through, and he rang us one night at 7:30 at night. And we weren't even his patient yet, and he went through a whole heap of stuff, and we both cried after that.
Yeah, he basically said, get rid of those.
Is this Christopher Neal?
Yeah.
Yeah. He is an absolute legend of a man.
I know.
He said, at the end of the phone call, he said, get rid of that other bloke. He said, you're my patient now. And even though he's in Victoria, he did more from another state than those other 5 or 6 jokers put together.
Because the other cardiologist, like before we finished up with him, his last appointment with us, he's like, okay, well, I don't need to see you for another 6 months. And I looked at him and I said, excuse me, but if you're saying there's nothing wrong with him, why is he on all this medication? And he turned around and said, oh, he might have a heart attack, but it won't kill him. So that was my point where I went, right, we are finding another cardiologist.
The bedside manner of Ted Bundy, huh?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Wow.
So he's like,
he might have a heart attack, but it won't kill him.
No.
So yeah.
You just got to learn to live with it. His words were.
You got to learn to live with a heart attack. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, learn to live with the condition and whatnot, yeah. But,
how do you deal with that, Donna? You must just want to jump the table and go, yeah, how about you live with a broken nose? How do you
I went home and I started researching, and that's how I found Chris. And I'm like, okay, we've got to do it this way. And by that stage, I had him on all the Peter McCullough protocols. I had him on everything that, was out there. I was trying to do my best to help. So yeah, it was hard.
Did you find anything that worked? And I admire you so much for that, Donna, but did you find anything that worked?
I would
In the
say,
beginning, no.
Not in the beginning, no, but I tell
Yeah.
you the one thing I absolutely swear by is ivermectin.
Ah,
And
amazing.
I will say it loud, and I will say it 10 times over. It has been the one single, and I've had a lot of different medications. Sometimes they mix the ivermectin up with something called fenbendazole. You can get in a nice blend. And I find if I'm off the ivermectin for more than 2 weeks, I start going downhill again. It's something that was hidden from people for many years. Mr. Trump over there in America, he blurted it out right at the start of the pandemic. He said, if everyone just goes get some ivermectin in them, they'll be right.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have laughed at him.
No, well, they banned it here in Australia. Our politicians banned it, and it's still banned to a certain degree. It's not that easy thing to get, and yet it works. And from people we meet everywhere, it works, and they want it banned. I mean, let's be honest. The country is, the health department, the health version of this country is ruled by Big Pharma, and it's all about protecting their product. And you mean nothing to them, Peter. I hate to say it.
Oh,
you know.
I honestly think I was just reading a comment there from Tataskew. The fact that I was so fit before this happened is one of the main reasons that I've managed to get through it in the way I have. And I'm not saying that to, put wind in my own sails, but I've always been very health conscious, very fit, non-smoker, social drinker.
Yeah.
Before you stopped work, when he was working, he would get up in the morning and leave 6:30, 7 in the morning. He'd go to work, come home, have tea and go to bed. That's all he did for the last few years.
Wow.
Like, I did all the mowing and all the maintenance around the place because he couldn't do anything else.
That must have been hard for you, Peter. You laying in bed listening to Donna mow the lawn, that must have been hard for you, brother.
It was frustrating. Our dream ever since we sort of became one was we wanted our own little place. And so we started off renting. We bought a cheap house. We sold it. We bought another slightly better house and sold it. And while we're both working, and we managed to get hold of a nice, 5-6 acre hobby farm just outside of Orange. And we called it Forever, FURREVAH. It sounds very Shrekish, I know, but that's what we called it. It was meant to be forever. When I got to the point where I was no longer able to work because I was getting that ill, we had no choice but to sell up and move. And that was absolutely gut-wrenching for me because we'd built this little paradise with manicured lawns and gardens, and we were home killing our own sheep and whatnot. We used to breed border collies, which and I basically the past 5 years I just slowly watched that slip away, and I knew I was losing the place 3 years ago, and then it finally happened. We were forced to that point where I couldn't physically continue work anymore, and therefore would no longer have the means or capacity to pay the mortgage. And so we were in a fortunate position, and there's a lot of people out there who are probably worse off than I was, and my heart goes out to them. It really does. we were just very fortunate that we had a lot of capital in our place, and we sold it. I had to sell a lot of things I loved, like I had a nice little collection of old Holdens. I had to sell about half of them off to fund all this. And we basically relocated up here to the mid-north coast on a much less grandiose scale. And basically, in my mind, there is no doubt it is all due to that stupid, bloody jab that I took. And I'm dirty, Michael. I'm dirty, but
You have a right to be dirty, brother.
I'm dirty at myself. You know, I kick myself every day for not listening to my wife, to not listening to her concerns. Looking back now, when our son's, he's older, to meet our son now, you would think he's just a shy boy. He has come so far. But looking back now,
how does he handle this?
I think it frustrates him because, you know, all his older siblings, he's got 4 older brothers, and they range in age from 24 to 30. And I used to take all the kids motocross bike riding. Every second weekend I would be out on a motocross riding. They'd come out and they'd watch me, you know, cut and split 2.5 ton of firewood and load it in the trailer. You know, and come home. And now, you know, these are the things I'd like to do with Lockie, but at this point in time, I'm not, even though I'm better now, but when I say better, I'm nowhere near what I used to be.
He still can't mow the lawn. If he was to push mower a lawn, he can't do it.
Yeah.
Wow. So he's not that much better, really. It's just, he's not the... Donna, can I ask, you're on your farm and you know you're going to lose it, and you're watching the premiers and all the other people selling the vaccine, saying how great vaccines are, they work. You're being ignored by everyone. You've got your son and you've got your partner here. How do you not go insane?
I was cranky, very cranky.
Understatement of the year there.
But we had no choice.
I understand, but I just wonder, this is what's happening here. This is what my point of getting to. We're supposed to be a society that has a bedrock of empathy. You know, remember you'd have the telethon once a year. We'd always raise more every year. There'd be millions more raised, and everyone would jump in. And it gave us the sense that this is what we do. We help the unfortunate. But now, for some reason, now it's different, and we ignore a lot of the unfortunate. You know what I mean? If it's a disease, we're going to catch it, so we'll just ignore it. So even to the point that the main newspaper that David works for refuses to cover the case. They say there's no story here, but there's a huge story here. There's a huge story here about what's modern day Australia. So I know you say you were cranky, but you must be really thinking, what have I done, or why won't anyone listen? I'm just interested to how you sit there watching what you've got to go through, and then what gets you over that and keeps you going.
I just
You don't have to answer it.
Our faith and the love for each other, it's...
Like I said earlier, Michael,
we all make mistakes in life, and a crystal ball would be lovely, but
Well, look at the mistake. Sorry to interrupt, but look at the mistake, Peter. I mean, one, you've got your son. He's got into the swimming things. You waited 18 months to get in. It seemed that it was going to be working for him. So I can fully understand why you do it. If it was if he wasn't autistic, you could have taken him to any pool or a river or whatever, a dam, and to go for a swim. These are different circumstances. They ask different things of people. So I don't think you did anything wrong. I think you did what any good father would have done. It wasn't you that did something wrong. It was the government who told us, and they knew it wasn't safe now, that we know that from Kennedy. They knew this stuff wasn't safe. They knew Australians were going to get injured. And like Andrew Brigden has come out in England and said, the politicians there told him they're not going to recognise any vaccine injuries for at least 20 years in the hope that people like you fall off the perch, Pete.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a government that doesn't care. And then you guys are left with the burden.
It's really funny. It's not funny. It's ridiculous. I mean,
Not funny.
I would lay down my own life without question for my children. I would lay down my own life for my two stepsons. I love both those boys dearly and their wives and my grandchildren. And I've never made any secret of that. My kids, they hear I love them every phone call. Her two boys, much to their disgust, they know that their stepdad Pete loves them. But the amount of ridicule, and I mean, even today, I wasn't attacked. I was amused. There was a comment on some platform about how this particular business would not recognise tomorrow as Australia Day in Orange, and that they're going to open up and anyone's still welcome to come in, but as far as they believe, they're not celebrating it. And I happened to just put a comment on there saying, it's Australia Day. It's a day for everyone. It's a day for unity. It's just, and everyone should just get over it and get along. And 10 minutes later, this little comment pulls up with my name tag in it, and this gentleman, who happens to be a fairly senior educator, I won't say where, had basically put a comment on there that said, that's exactly the sort of comment I would expect from a Sook vaccine-injured Peter Furlonger. And I'm like, right, this bloke's, obviously very brave, 600 kilometres away. But I thought, and that's the sort of ridicule you cop when people find out why you are, how you are at the moment. You either get one or two reactions, like, you're off your nana, you're an absolute, you're playing it, you're being a victim, you're doing this and that. And then there's the other side, which there seems to be more and more of. They're going, this is a thing, it happened. But the funny thing is now, you could walk, and I would bet my left leg on it, you could walk up to anyone in the shop, in a shopping centre, anyone, anywhere, and if you said to them, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I've got this problem and it's brought on by the vaccine or whatnot, they will turn around and say, I know someone, or my sister, or my niece, or my grandma, and it's just, ridiculous. Everybody knows somebody.
Yeah, it's ever. We used to do gatherings, haven't done one for a while, and you'd ask people to stand up if you know of anyone who died just of COVID, anyone, this terrible pandemic. So surely in this room of 200-300 people, one must know someone who just died of COVID, and you might get one person stand up, maybe two, but one usually. Then I go, stand up if you know of anyone who's been injured or killed by the vaccine, and the room stands up.
Yep.
All of it, every single frigging person. And people go, oh, you're all crooked. Go, no, that wasn't the thing, what we thought. It's just that everyone knows someone now. For some reason, as a society, we don't want to deal with it, including, so I just want to ask, this is to both of you, Donna, and Donna, I might get you to go second, but I'll go Peter first. Our PM is trying to bring in laws where you can't hate him. I believe they're trying to pass them now. And a lot of that is because people like us put him in an AI bikini. That's why they call him Al Bikini now. And so he doesn't like being shamed publicly, obviously, you know what I mean? So he's prepared to even shut down X to do that. But I'd say you two do not like being ignored when your family has been crippled to a degree by vaccine injuries, which the government has stated forever are completely safe and effective. So,
Well,
Peter, what would you like from the Prime Minister? You know, whether it's compensation or acknowledgement or something, what would you like to see come from him up and then everyone down behind him?
firstly of all, what I'd like from him is his resignation. Look, I would love. He's what I call a post turtle.
A what?
A post turtle.
A post-turtle.
Yeah, you ever been driving down a road and you're just looking around and all of a sudden you see a turtle on a post and you think, how did that turtle get there? And you know, sure as hell, he didn't do it by himself. Some arsehole put him there. But look, honestly,
That wasn't the answer I was expecting.
sorry, feel free to use that if you like, Michael.
Man, it's a short.
Look, honestly, I would like recognition as a bare minimum.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not going to lie. I'll be bluntly honest. I would like compensation, and I'm not saying that because I demand it. But look, when you're financing and servicing a mortgage on acreage, it's not small. I was lucky enough in my role that I was that senior in it that I could maintain that and a good lifestyle and have all these things that I've worked my life for without the necessity for Donna to hold down a full-time job. I count myself lucky. I also made sure I had good insurance. But the income protection is temporary. The income protection is a fraction of what I was on before. And I honestly think that I'm owed that because I was lied to. And
yeah, you were.
I really do. And
you don't think it. You were lied to. The evidence is out there. You were lied.
And Mr. Albanese is too worried about turning this great country into a lefty playground for mass immigration, and it was a lot of other things which I won't go into because I've got very pointed views on a lot of that stuff which may offend.
Won't offend micro.
Yeah, I didn't think so, mate. But look, honestly, he needs to wake up. He needs to just at least acknowledge what's happened, so at least other people out there know that they're recognised. And my great auntie just popped up post turtle.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Hello, Auntie Margaret. And, Margaret Wilson.
Margaret Wilson. G'day, Margaret.
That's my great auntie. She's lovely. And
how old is she?
She would be in her mid to late 80s. And
hey, Margaret. Love it.
She is the most lovely person. Love her to death. It's just mind-boggling how somebody can be so blasé about what's going on in their own backyard.
Oh, 100%.
And
but, sorry, you keep going. You hadn't finished because I was going to ask of.
No, pass off to Donna because I best stop there before I get too carried away.
Donna, but if he did, say Albanese's, all the people that below him said, look, I reckon it'd be good PR to come down and meet these people. If he came into your house, what would you say to him?
I wouldn't offer him a drink.
I don't know. Oh, goodness me, there's so much stuff.
I would probably like to put an arm around him and say, "Come for a walk with me, sunshine. Let me show you. Let me show you some things. Let me explain some things to you." And I could guarantee he would walk away a different person.
Maybe the whole country would change if he did that.
Mate, yeah. I think a lot of people,
I just don't. In reality,
they don't care.
They don't care, but they don't know what the vaccine injured are going through. I don't know if they sat down with you.
They don't care is the thing, you know.
If they spent some time with you, whether that had changed their minds. They're just so warped in the way they think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's been a horrendous 4 to 5 years, what we've been through. I'm slowly getting to the point now where I'm considering being able to go back to some form of employment.
What do you think you could do, Peter?
Well, it have been nothing that's.
It would be nothing strenuous like I used to, but
it'd have to be an office job.
But I'm very good at managing people because that's all I've done all my life, as well as having a hands-on role.
If he was to do a medical, though, he would fail.
If I was to do a physical, I would fail miserably.
So it will be hard. He might have to go and 57 train and do something to be able to even look at getting a job.
I'm right on that cusp of 57 years old, where a lot of people go, oh, he's probably getting a bit too old, and he's that close to being able to retire. It doesn't matter. Whereas
they've upped their retirement, mate. We can't retire until we're 70 or 75 now, I think.
Exactly, and I mean, I've got a lot more working life left in me, and mentally anyway. In my head, I am capable of everything.
Yeah.
And my body turns around and says, "Hang on, sunshine, just hold up a bit."
The whole vaccine injury compensation scheme they need to bring it back or have a big overhaul, because there's so many people suffering.
Oh, there's loads. There is loads. Well, Rosemary's a perfect example, or George. They do the Forest of the Fallen. I think Dr. Paul Oosterhouse does it with them now too. If it's in DY. Rosemary's non-stop people stopping, talking to her. The same when we're on the road, and it's everywhere. It's remarkable that the country's not angrier, Yeah.
And it must be costing the government a fortune for everyone's medical bills, like Medicare and all that sort of thing. We added up. It was over $40,000 just for a medical test that he's had, and that's through Medicare. So every vaccine injured person that's got to pay for, it's just
one of those treatments.
Shake your head.
One of those treatments alone that I did involved me spending 7 weeks in Melbourne, away from family. The treatment itself was donated by the provider as another experiment, but on top of that there were airfares and accommodation and
7 weeks.
Things like that. I mean, and I was very blessed where I had a family member help me out, and and I'm forever grateful to that. And it worked. But after a few months, the effects wore off. And, you're back to school.
Can I ask?
Sorry, mate?
What did they do in the treatment that worked?
It was called EECP. It involves basically a pressure suit, and it syncs with your heart rhythm, which was really hard for me because my heart rhythm was all over the place. But what it does is it promotes circulation and helps find new pathways for circulation. But once you stop the treatment, in some cases, you have to have it redone every 12 months or every 6 months to keep the benefits flowing. And, to go down there.
So a 7-week treatment every 6 months to a year.
And I mean, if they subsidise something like that on the PDA, but it's, and this lovely young couple who run it down in Melbourne are the world's most nicest Christian family, big Christian family, and they, and they do a very good job, and yeah, but things like that which do have some sort of temporary relief,
Yeah.
that I reckon should, it should be looked at, therapies.
Well, I can't see why, as a community, we're not doing that anyway. I mean, one thing that happened recently is the amount of money going to different places. Like, I think they gave Papua New Guinea $600 million for soccer. Think how many treatments we could get for that, for $600 million for our own people for these vaccine injuries, There's a thing here from Agamaster. At 57, you should be able to get your own super as you can no longer work. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I did. I got my super payout, and
then it's taxed.
But then it's taxed. You've got to be very crafty of how you get it to get a. When we sold, I should say, in reply to old mate, when we sold our place in Orange, we had a choice. We could either buy a near new house, which we would have nothing to do to, or we could buy an older house, which was out in a little rural community, which is similar to where we were. So a lot of that money went towards fixing up our little house. So yeah, we can have a bit of comfort, so to speak.
Yeah, fair enough.
What you got now is going to last you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, what I've got now is
it's an actual long life,
Yeah. And there's not that much there.
No, there's not that much there. I mean, so basically, no super now because I got that paid out. My insurance and income protection. I've got my income protection, but that's about a third a month of what I was making before. And the bill, just because you stop work and your income drops dramatically, your bills don't stop. And I mean, once again, consider myself lucky that I don't have a mortgage. There are lots of other people who are in a leakier boat than what I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, I find a leak, I just stick another finger in it. I mean, there's people out there who haven't got enough fingers.
Yeah, no, that's different.
But at the moment, like with the cardiologist and the hematologist, he's still spending about $400 to $500 a month on all these supplements to keep him in some sort of
I've heard it from several. Yeah, the amount of money that vaccine injured people are giving out to just try stay, not to get back to normal, just try stay better than worse than what they were.
Yeah.
What has Chris Neal said as a prognosis?
He's actually given it a name now. It's called PACS. It's PACVS. It's called post-acute vaccine syndrome.
Post-acute vaccine syndrome.
Yeah. PACVS, I think. And he's basically said it's a vaccine injury. He said it's just, and he's not afraid, that man. He's just, I mean, he's got 9 kids. He's not afraid of anything, that bloke. Jeez.
No, he's a lion. Yeah. He's a lion. Yeah, I have enormous respect for that man. Yeah.
A lot of respect. And there's, and he's made a hematologist who's actually up here, on the mid-north coast, thank goodness, because Melbourne's a long way away.
North New South Wales.
And he has been an absolute godsend with saying, this is what we're going to do, we're going to drop this, we're going to add that. And because, it's just the side effects from that jab. And I mean,
it's remarkable it's still affecting you, don't you think? After 5 years, it's remarkable that it's still affecting you.
Yeah.
I've never had so much as a sunspot or anything in 57 years since we've been up here. We've been up here about 15 months. I've had a lymphoma scare. I've had a thyroid scare. Luckily, they both came back negative. And
But it still doesn't explain. So he's
last week I had to go and have biopsies done, and I've got to go and get some carcinomas removed, which is, anyone can get them, I realise, but these sort of things is the problems I've never had before in my life.
No, but yeah, the strange things is the vaccine. What they say is the immune system's breaking down.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a doctor. Easterhouse isn't on tonight, so there's he probably able to fill you in with those things. But there's these things in our blood or in our body which stop cancers, and the vaccine apparently puts them out of action. So, but what were you going to say, Donna?
So he has lymph nodes that they'll come up under his arm. He gets huge big lumps, and they'll be there for a few weeks, and they go away, then they come back, and they just keeps coming and going. And those things on his arms, he doesn't. When he injures himself, his skin doesn't repair properly anymore. So that's why he's got these things on his arms. And when he stops taking the fenbendazole, they get worse. He starts back on the fenbendazole, it keeps him nice and calm.
Yeah, we just had a guy here, Stefan. He's taken 3. He follows us too. He wanted to meet, and he said the same. He said, "Look at my skin. There's all these grazes and stuff." He goes, "They don't heal anymore.
Yeah.
They just stay there." Yeah. Do you feel it inside you, Peter? Do you feel like, that you're far? I know you've been through it, but do you feel that there's something wrong in the way that something's in you?
I honestly do. I feel. I don't feel right. Like you've had a bad curry. You just get that. You get that feeling, and like you're not firing on all cylinders. It's like a plug needs cleaning or something like that. I get days where. I look at the mountain bike and I go, geez, I almost reckon I could get on that and go for a pedal today. But then full well I'll get 25 metres up the street and go, okay, whose bright idea was this? But it comes and goes, and like you got to take the positives out of a lot of things. I mean. Nobody forced me to do what I did. I felt it was my duty. I thought it was what I was meant to do to look after my son. And the glass is half full. Really, it's not half empty. It's half full. And that's the attitude I've had to force myself to take, because if I let myself wallow in it, I'll just get down on myself. And one run in with that. Yeah, one run in with it. Yeah, exactly. One run in with the black dog's more than enough for my lifetime, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
He's a stubborn pet, that's for sure. Donna, I just want to say, Donna, look, because he's the one that's been vaccinated and your son, but the real one who's also been vaccinated is you, even though you haven't been it. But here you are as the carer now. You've had to care for your son, now you're caring for your husband. I just want to say how incredible you are. And you're not going to get any accolades. There's not going to be any statues built to Donna, but there should be. They're going to build them for Dan Andrews, but they should build them to you as a true Australian mother, as tough as the women that Banjo Patterson used to write about. Seriously, Donna, you should.
I can say one thing though, and I know a lot of people won't talk about it, but shedding is real.
Okay. Yeah.
So when Pete started having all his heart issues, so did I.
Wow.
And going to a doctor and saying, "Well, I've got shedding from my husband," they're not going to listen to you.
So what did you do? How bad was it?
I went from being able to go for a walk, run an hour, 40 minutes up and down hills, and I was out of breath, and I'm just like, pains in my chest. I'm like, what is wrong with me? So, yeah, I don't know, but it was around the same time as when he got sick. So I guess because
So
I didn't have
you had to keep care of the family, keep two members going, and yourself was suffering and still keep going.
yeah. But I guess I didn't actually physically get the whole injection, which we know that he had a bad batch. And I just was into all the natural therapies way before he did. And I fast and I do all those sort of things. So I think that's how I've got through it, where he's only just started doing the fasting now.
Obey her.
Yes.
Seriously, you gotta keep it there, mate. Honestly, you got a real Australian woman there.
Look,
I hate to say it. Yeah,
there's
getting
six
into
modes.
them. I totally agree.
There's 6 major food groups, mate, and bacon's one of them. And I'm a bacon and eggs and red steak man. And when the hematologist told me I needed to do a 3-day fast, it was like somebody cut my throat. And I could have chewed the bum out of a low-flying duck, fair dinkum.
Well, you're tall enough to reach it.
Yeah. But yeah, I can see.
I'll get done for an absolute.
Yeah, it was just.
Oh yeah, I had him on the cayenne pepper, and he didn't like swallowing those.
I don't like swallowing that stuff either. Well,
So
see,
then
as a bloke, I have to admit, Cal is the same. She's just sitting here. Cal is the same. Always here. Look, she's just there. Hi, Cal. So she's always. You should squeeze in. She's always giving me health food stuff. And the one thing about health food stuff that I could never understand is why it all tastes so bad. It'd be just nice if there's one health food thing that tasted like chocolate, you know, then it'd be, but you know, anyway, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm a bit like you, mate. I do like my food. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did it. He did a 3-day.
No, I do too. Don't you worry. Yeah. Yeah, I'm obedient now.
You just got to get him to go carnivore now.
Oh.
I don't have a problem with that. Read the man, mate.
The fasting works. I do know the fasting works. I'm not a medical doctor, but these are things we've heard about. I can't give medical advice over here, but you know, yeah. What I love is that it's love has got you through. That's what I love. Darkness around you, insanity around you. I see some people like you caught in the eye of a hurricane, really, where everything's madness. You know, there's so much going on, and here you two are left trying to deal with the consequences. And I love the fact that love has got you through here. You can see it, you can feel it in you, and you got your son as well. And I truly wish you the best. I truly do. And it maybe, to be honest, it's I know it sounds corny, but I'm an old hippie. So I'm allowed to say this shit. That's what I finished.
See this grey hair? I did that to her.
Yeah, same. You're saying we look like brother and sister, Donna. There you go. Look, we're the same now. Yeah, you, me, and Rochi's our older brother. But this is maybe these are the lessons we're learning in this period. You know what I mean? Yes, I know you lost a father. Now I lost you lose this, but you've got each other. You know, and I do wonder as people move forward in this life, if they sacrifice everything just for material goods. The one thing at one point they'll learn is what's the point of having this great house if there's no humans in it to take pleasure in it? You know what I mean? People mean, and yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm just ranting. Yeah.
Oh, look, I used to be very much he who dies with the most toys wins. But my outlook on life now is a lot different. And I've at least, you know, I don't go to bed now thinking, is this going to be the night that I don't wake up from? And it's been a long time, and I'm still not even close to 100% of what I used to be, but I'm working on it. And I'm stubborn if you listen to her.
That's a good thing sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. Donna, is there anything you'd like to say to take us out?
Oh, what do I want to say? People just got to trust in themselves and know if they're not feeling right to push with doctors, because half the time they don't listen. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people out there still suffering and they don't realize it's from the jabs.
Yeah, that's true as well. They think it's they just think it's what do they call long COVID and all this stuff. Yeah. We're in a tough time. But maybe tough times is where we find what really matters. And I'm just loving watching you two together. You know, it's really cool. It's really cool that you've got through this. There's so many families we've met who have split up, and people are really struggling like that. And I think you would have found it so much harder, Peter, if you'd had to do this on your own. And so, thanks for sharing this.
No, if it wasn't for her, I'll be the first to admit I'd be lost, Michael. I really would. No, I can't imagine my life without this woman. I really can't.
But in a way, like, you were just fortunate that I'd had issues with a medication 30 odd years ago and questioned everything.
Yeah.
Because if I was like the majority of the population, I wouldn't have known. Probably.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful place to end it where Peter said, actually. So I'll probably call it quits there. I don't know where I'm looking tonight. There's probably call it quits there. Tomorrow we have Cal. Do you want to fill us in with the single show? She's not in the mood to talk. So we're having the single show tomorrow. Cafe Loved Up for any, and we're after blokes. We've got lots of women want to come on, but we're after blokes. So if you're in our community and you want to risk trying to meet someone, David came on last time. He's had a lot of women interested in him, so you might get lucky, and you might end up like this couple. It's life's going to be very hard going forward, and it's always good to have someone great by your side, whether whichever floats your boat, whatever gender that is. But yeah, I'm gonna wish you the best, and God bless you both. I don't think you need it. I think God's with you anyway. It might not just be the way we thought it was going to be, but and I really wish you great health, Peter. You're a lovely guy, man. Yeah, and having the courage to talk. Yeah, well, actually, that's something you can do, Peter, just for this. We need more people to talk about this, because the more people talk, the more the mainstream media will listen, the more the community will listen, and the more this won't become a subject we can't talk about. You know what I mean? Just because you're not thalidomide, you can't physically see your injuries, doesn't mean you have it. There's no benefit for you walking around like you have been, or just for 5 years. Why would you put on an act like that? You're obviously unwell. So what would you say to anybody wanting to talk about this? Because there's so many people out there who listen to their stories now, including Rosemary.
Just get in touch with people like yourself, Rosemary Marshall. I mean, the more of us that speak out, the more seriously they've got to take us. It's not a problem that's going to go away. And I mean, people have died from these injections, and it's a gift that keeps on giving, really, but you don't want it. And I count myself as one of the lucky ones. I've had the right help, I've had the right support. But look, gosh, if somebody wants to talk, if they just want to talk to anyone, reach out to me, reach out to Donna. We have good friends that reached out to us when they heard what was happening to me. There's one young man down in Western South Australia, and he's in the same boat. And there's another bloke in Melbourne who I communicate with, and just talk to someone. And sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger, especially an emphatic stranger. But Yeah, you're not alone. No one's alone.
No, you're not alone. Yeah, beautiful, man. And yeah, this is this is what we do. There's a lot of podcasters will do it, and it's important to do it. There's a lot of issues going on at the moment, but they just want to forget you guys. They just want to do it. You're like a red wine stain on their beige laminate top, and they don't like it. But you're here, and you're real, and you're human, and you're Australian, and our country should have an ethos that we look after our own. We injured you. You're our responsibility. It's our responsibility to get you better or to look after you, as far as I can see. Simple as that. Yeah. We're going to go out with the same song we started with. Cal and I are leaving here at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
She nodded at 5. And we're going to head to Port Augusta. And it's going to be 46. So I wish everyone a great Australia Day wherever you are. We'll be heading to Port Augusta and trying to make it down to Whyalla. So if you're in the area, you can find us on cafelockdown.com as interactive map. Probably be used by the RAC, I'd say, tomorrow. But anyway, take care and stay in the studio, guys. I'll catch you in a sec. But thank you again for coming on. And Donna, you rock, girl. You rock. Peter, you rock. But Donna, you rock. And Australia, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh.
When I met Jesus Christ, he was almost 10 years old.
Goodbye Road is going to go into the National Library thanks to John Stapleton. So our history is now going to be, or a sliver of it, is now going to be recorded in the National Library. So how's that? Good night.
And he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath the poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts. We make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair. Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your natural gifts. We make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair.
say hello.